In a rest house located in the Gamma Republic, Max and Maou were having an intense match of table tennis. The loser would have to pay for the iced coffee, so they were so serious that they were even using their magical abilities to win. However, they couldn't determine the winner as the ball kept breaking over and over. While taking a bath, Maou was asking Max if he was happy that they came to Gamma Republic. Max seemed unsure, but while he was in deep thought, Maou asked him to hand over the towel to her. She also asked Max to bring it to her inside the bathroom, as she didn't want to wet the floor. Max seemed reluctant, but it also looked like he was expectant. However, Maou was already in his child form when he opened the door, and Max's disappointment is visible in his face. Afterwards, the duo had their dinner and drank some milk before going to sleep. They continued exploring the next day, and Maou had already forgotten what they came for as she had fun at all of the tourist spots. However, after leaving the souvenir shop, they saw Inigo announce that access to the areas around the Bisnar Kingdom and Gamma Republic border is restricted. Some tourists were nervous, as they were aware that the Republic was fighting with the kingdom. Maou was wondering if a battle was really going on, but Max was worried that it could get worse, so he suggested that they leave as soon as possible. However, the old lady showed up behind them, asking them not to worry while saying that the little spats were normal occurrences at the border, and she also showed them how the locals were not panicking at all. Although Max wanted to go home, Maou insisted that they observe the battle to measure both forces' capabilities instead. Max wanted to refuse, but he had no choice because Maou had their return tickets, and she was also the one who had the ability to teleport back home. Max asked what her plan was to reach the border, as he was certain that they couldn't just walk through the forbidden zone. Maou carried him and flew towards the border while confidently saying that she had more energy after bathing at the hot spring, so they could reach the border in no time. However, they started falling from the sky instead, and she started complaining about Max's weight. Max responded that he was gaining weight because he had been eating well lately. Maou was happy after hearing it, as he had been taking care of him, but Max took it back, saying that it was just a joke. After getting close enough to the border, the duo used binoculars to observe the situation. Although the kingdom's forces are trying to break through their walls, Inigo and her allies decided to send Leo to go fishing instead, worried that it would be more dangerous for everyone if he was around. Afterwards, they launched magic bombs at the kingdom's forces, but they were just loaded with sleeping and paralysis spells to put the soldiers to sleep. Maou and Max were baffled by the battle. Maou thought that it looked like children on a playground, and he was certain that if it were his forces, the border wall would have been blown apart easily. Max also agreed. He couldn't understand why the kingdom's forces weren't overwhelming the Republic. The kingdom's forces were frustrated by the Republic's barrier. They were wondering if the Republic was using an advanced defensive spell or a magical device, and the magical bombs that have sleeping spells were also causing them trouble. Although the forces were stuck in a stalemate, the kingdom still had some plans up their sleeves, but they immediately recalled the soldiers to retreat. Inigo and her allies sighed in relief, seeing the kingdom's forces retreat, but she told everyone that they would continue guarding until the next day. However, an energy beam suddenly pierced through the wall and hit Inigo in the arm. Because of this, they had to prepare themselves to fight again while trying to treat Inigo's wound. The guy holding the bondage cried when his hair was ruined after almost getting shot in the head. The energy beam came from Fred's subordinate, and the captain didn't want to give the Republic's forces any time to escape and was insisting that he continue firing the spell. However, the bald guy refuted that penetrating the barrier requires a considerable amount of magic, so it was enough to chase them away and focus on destroying the walls once the stronghold is empty. Maou was impressed with Baldy's magic, and he thought that the battle was starting to become interesting. However, Max was looking in the opposite direction, fully aware of Leo's arrival. Leo jumped over the walls and arrived in front of the kingdom's forces. His allies and Maou were excited to see him, but he actually rushed back after sensing a demonic presence. When he couldn't sense the demonic presence anymore, Leo shifted his focus to the kingdom's forces, and he immediately caused a tornado using his spear to knock down the soldiers. Leo confronted the captain, but the captain told him that the peaceful negotiations he was demanding would never come to pass. Leo refused to give up, and he announced that they would never surrender, no matter how long it took or how difficult it was. However, Baldy suddenly fired his energy beam at Leo, hitting him in the neck. He was determined to kill Leo, as he thought that he was causing nothing but trouble for his master, Fred. But Leo was completely fine, even after taking a direct hit to the throat. He told Baldy to pass his message to Fred. His message was, "Let's have a heart-to-heart, so that you don't have to suffer anymore." Afterwards he overpowered Baldy. He couldn't fight back at all before losing consciousness. After dealing with Baldy, Leo asked the captain to withdraw his troops. He was hesitant at first, but he realized that they couldn't really do anything to Leo, so they had no choice but to retreat. Although Leo was domineering in front of the kingdom's forces, he was really soft towards his allies. And he was really worried after seeing Inigo's injury. Will was surprised that he showed up even when they didn't have a chance to call him, so Leo explained that he rushed back after sensing an ominous demonic presence. Inigo asked if it was just Baldy, but Leo was certain that it wasn't him, so he thought it was just his imagination. Then he couldn't hold his laughter after seeing his ally's bald head. Maou was impressed with Leo, and he thought he had enough strength to lead the Gamma Republic. They could now understand why the Republic could repel the kingdom. But it was also obvious that Leo was their only source of strength. Maou asked Max if he could win if he tried fighting Leo, but he responded that he was not a match for Leo anymore before telling Maou that they should head home. Maou agreed, as he was already satisfied after seeing Leo's strength, so he started using his magic to open the teleportation portal. However, Leo noticed this, and he immediately threw his spear at them. Max carried Maou before running away, but he couldn't outrun Leo, so he had to stop running and face him. Leo couldn't recognize him because of his fake nose and glasses, so he told Leo that they were just passers-by. Leo believed his excuse, but he demanded that he leave Maou behind. Although Maou was willing to lose his life in order to help Max escape, Max refused, and instead he asked Maou to activate his teleportation spell while he was buying some time for him. Max was evenly matched with Leo. However, Leo noticed that he was just buying time for Maou to let him use his teleportation spell, so he threw his spear in his direction. Max managed to stop his spear, so Leo had no choice but to focus on beating him first, and Max's fake nose and glasses were destroyed while he was trying to dodge Leo's kick. Luckily, Leo still couldn't recognize him even without his disguise. However, Maou called Max by his name when he succeeded in activating his teleportation spell, so Leo finally recognized him. Leo immediately asked why he was in the Gamma Republic and why he was hanging out with the demon. But Max refused to answer, and instead he said that he was glad that Leo was doing well. Leo was happy to see Max, and he thought that he should have recognized his identity from the beginning since he was the only one who could fight evenly with him. At the same time, Max and Maou popped out from inside the closet after successfully teleporting, and the ghost was complaining after getting hit in the head by the duo. Max was happy that they managed to come back in one piece, while Maou was impressed that he could hold his ground against Leo, and he thought it was a spectacular fight after seeing Leo's strength. Afterwards, he hugged Max from behind while staring at him with his forehead eye. Then while feeling embarrassed, he thanked Max for protecting him. And while the duo thought that their vacation was actually fun, the ghost wanted to kill them for breaking the closet door. She was pissed that they forgot to fix it. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and look forward to the next part.